Hey, everybody. This is totally not the second time we're trying this. Welcome to the spookiest podcast.
Woo! We're actually recording this time.
Yay.
Yeah, so
yeah, now we're
actually recording
we're
this
actually
time.
recording the podcast now. Yeah, we are. Yeah, guys, welcome to the spookiest podcast that you listen to.
Well, probably not the spookiest one. There's probably scarier ones.
Oh, well,
out
second best.
there. I would say probably
Third
eight.
best.
Probably say eighth.
Yeah. That was the sound of my brain.
We're at least in the top 10.
Yeah, welcome to the third episode of the podcast, boys. This time we're talking about some spooky
You could
stuff.
call us the scary boys. Where's that laugh track when I need him? Last episode.
Hold on a second.
Last episode, it was nothing but laugh tracks. This is just spooky ambiance.
Yeah, we're talking about the spookiest time of the season.
Even though it's September 29th by the time
Don't
we're
tell
recording
them
this.
that. And we have every light on in the house.
No, it's pitch black dark in here, actually.
It's still daytime out.
There's a raccoon looking at me.
Spooky.
That made you look stupid.
I mean, I believe it.
Yeah, we're going to go... Thank you.
Yeah, so
We're going to go over spooky stuff. That
yeah, we're just gonna go over some general spookums.
maybe even some stuff that happened to us.
Maybe, maybe not.
Trevor doesn't believe in that stuff.
I could turn this podcast off right now again. Restart for the third time.
Third time's the charm, they
Third
usually
time.
say. What do you want to start with?
Let's start off with general business. How you doing? That's pretty good. You know what? That's pretty good.
My allergies are kind of a little rough. I didn't think it was that funny. But thanks. Were you going to do the same bit again?
Probably.
What a surprise.
But yeah, yeah, we're talking about Halloween.
Pagan holiday.
God damn it. That's a joke from the podcast that didn't exist.
Yeah, there's a parallel universe where other people got to listen to that podcast than this one.
Everybody, yeah. So, what do you think,
Trevor, I told you to get rid of that guy in your basement.
Yeah, I know. I forgot.
That's where Bam Margera went.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to take him out, I guess. Junior! Stop it.
Totally real cat fight that just happened.
Yeah, anyways. No, I need to shut the door also.
I'm Trevor and Owl got in, I guess.
Yeah. Someone's getting in.
That's actually me.
Oh, okay. You're just having a real fun time over
I'm
there.
just stomping my boot.
Yeah. Also, apparently it's raining as well.
Oh, man, a thunderstorm broke out of God knows where. Did you just look up Halloween noises and this is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I have these at my command.
Oh, boy.
Junior, no. Get away from that.
He electrocuted himself.
Oh, God. So, yeah, what the heck is this?
Who is that knocking at my door?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
Yeah, come on, third guest who's always at the other end of the table.
Yeah, come on,
Who
man.
got a mic now all of a sudden
Yeah.
and says one thing.
It's Chainsaw Man.
That's actually me again.
Anyways, so,
Yeah, before the first half hour of this podcast becomes noises.
yeah, anyways, yeah, I got some ambiance, so we'll just stick with that for right now. So,
Let's start off with Halloween in general, the holiday.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this in the last episode because we were talking about nostalgia.
Uh-huh.
And we talked about how we went trick-or-treating and whenever we stopped. Let's start off with like some of the basics, I guess. What was your favorite Halloween costume you wore? What was your least favorite Halloween costume? And then same for Halloween candy.
So my least and favorite costume, my least and favorite candy.
Yeah.
Okay, for candy, I love Twix and Milk Duds. Those were always
You're a Twix man?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Those were always my favorite candies to get.
I never.
My least favorite.
Mm-hmm. Like anytime you went to that house and afterwards you dug through that big old bag.
There's always that.
There's always those one or two types
There's
of
always
candies.
that one person that gives you raisins, but I feel like that's too cliche to say.
I never got raisins.
Oh, I did a lot.
I never. I didn't.
I didn't like the popcorn balls.
I got that maybe once or twice.
Because I'm not a big popcorn fan. It always gets stuck in my throat or in between my teeth.
I think I like popcorn balls if they're actually freshly made. I think the prepackaged popcorn balls.
Yeah,
are
it was always
weird.
the prepackaged popcorn, or those the fake cigarette candy.
I never got that.
Yeah, they were awful. It tasted like eating the stick of a sucker.
Hell yeah, dude.
For my costumes, I don't think I had a least favorite costume. All my costumes I picked myself.
Yeah. But I was just curious.
Probably my least favorite was a knight, just because I was a small child, so I was like, eh.
I was also a knight one year.
My favorite was probably my mom worked at a haunted house place called The Descent. I don't know if you remember that. That was around here. And she did the makeup and stuff for it. So me and my brother were zombies. And she did like all the big gush marks around our face and stuff and put rice in it to make it look like maggots.
Ew.
It was fun, but man, at the end of the day, it was so awful to peel off because it had glue in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just peeling that off your face and your neck and your arms, which I had arm hair at the time, so just ripping arm hair out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun at the time. I stopped trick-or-treating when I was 12.
Which is the usual time that people stop trick-or-treating.
And even before, when I was like 10 and 11, I was like, I had the mentality, I was like, why would I just go get candy when I can just buy a big bag? Or if I stay at home, I can just have the leftovers.
What, did you have money at that point?
I mean, my grandmas are the grandmas that will give you money no matter what holiday.
Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, it's Arbor Day. Here, take $2.
Oh, okay, I guess. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So I was always like, I just go buy candy. And I think the last costume I wore trick-or-treating... That was my knee.
I was just doing a little stretching around there.
The last costume I wore, I was Jason Voorhees. I only bought a mask and a plastic machete. I didn't put any effort in the rest of the costume.
You didn't even wear like a jacket?
I wore a jacket, but it was like completely off. Just a regular Carhartt jacket.
Nice.
And jeans, and that was it. I was just like, hey, trick or treat or whatever.
Hey guys, guess what? I'm Jason Voorhees.
And now I like Halloween for the aspect of it. I like getting everything ready and everything.
Yeah.
I do like to dress up now more as like
just a fun thing to
do. A fun thing, like if you're handing out candy. Like this year I want to go as Fat Thor from Avengers. And I've already bought the costume. It's got the robe and everything with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think that'll be funny to hand out candy. Actually, I work on Halloween, so it'll be fun to see people's reaction when they walk in, just Fat Thor just sitting at the counter.
That's not a car.
So what about you? What's yours?
So probably my... let's start with costumes. Probably my least favorite costume from whenever I have to remember it is one year I was a ninja.
I feel like everybody was either a pirate, a ninja, or a knight.
I was a knight also, but that was like really young.
I feel like I was a ninja at one point as well.
Well, I was a ninja, but I was a weird looking ninja. It was like one of those costumes. It was a colored ninja. It had like green bands on it, and the mask was like green striped. It was weird. It was like this,
like a crossover between Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles.
Yes, it was like what I don't know what this is, but okay. I just remember that costume not looking the greatest. I still have the mask. It glows in the dark. That's like the coolest aspect about it.
Whoa! You got the fancy ninja costume.
No, it wasn't. My favorite costume. I'm going to count only the ones that I went whenever I was younger because I also stopped around 11 or 12, but I did it one more time sophomore year, I think. I discussed this in the last episode. I did it one more time sophomore year, and that time I made my own costume. So I'm not going to count that because that
I think I remember that.
Yeah, that was something else I did. But out of the ones I was a kid, I think it was like my last costume I ever did, or the second to last one I ever did. I was like Junior's doing his own thing over there. I don't know what he's thinking about doing. He got caught in the door. But it was either my last or second to last costume. I was like a Reaper, not the Grim Reaper.
Just a Reaper.
I was like in this
Typical cloak with skull mask.
No.
Oh.
This one was different. This one was a little bit more advanced. What it was this long black robe, hood, didn't see a face at all. The face was like covered with like a mesh material that you could see through.
Okay, yeah.
And what was cool about it was they gave you glasses to wear that had light bulbs on them. So all you would see are these like red dots underneath it. It was
pretty nifty.
It was the coolest costume I had. It was my favorite one, and it was also the one that I remember the most reactions.
And you still have it, and you're gonna go put it on.
I still have the hood actually. I use it as a prop a lot of the times.
Oh, cool.
I think I have it here with me.
Yeah.
But
work.
And I remember people's reactions to it the most.
They said, "Burn it."
Well, because it was like not a really famous costume of anything. It wasn't like from any movies or anything like that. It was just a generic Halloween.
Yeah,
costume.
it was just like a typical.
But it was cool because it had this like red eyeglass thing that was awesome.
My family dressed up a lot as Ghostface. That was kind of the one I
had a phase where I think I did Ghostface twice.
My two oldest brothers did Ghostface a lot. I like to mix it up. I was a bunch of different serial killers. I was Freddy, Michael Myers, Leatherface, Jason.
I was never any of those ones.
Leatherface is probably my favorite out of those because you could get a chainsaw that doesn't have a chain on it.
Mm-hmm. I was a Reaper one year with the whole skull mask and everything, but the only difference with that one was I had one of those chest plates that could bleed.
Oh, yeah.
And you had like a pump.
I like the mask that could do that.
I saw those, yeah.
And then you have that knife that's got like the liquid in it, so if you flip it upside down, it fills up. Man, early 2000s Halloween slapped.
Well, the Halloween costumes still kind of slap now. They're kind of more interesting.
Yeah.
Especially whenever we went to Spirit Halloween last year, I was like, these costumes are way more interesting.
We don't have a Spirit down here this year.
Is it not coming? Okay, but I was wondering about...
Because the Five Below is where it used to be.
Yeah, I know. But they changed buildings anyway.
The one at the landing isn't there.
Well, that's the same one that we've always had. It's just changed buildings. It went from downtown to next to Country Mart to at the Walmart
so
area.
Apparently we're not getting one this year.
Are we not getting one, or is it just moving?
I feel like if we did, it'd already be up.
Do they always get up?
It's usually around the end of September, so.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, the ones around Springfield and stuff are up.
Okay.
So I guess we're not cool enough this year.
I guess we're not cool enough this year. Well,
we never.
We have it immortalized anyways. In our last year Halloween video, we went to Spirit anyways.
Which is one of my favorite videos we've made.
Yeah. But I was thinking about that because I was like, we were trying to get the suitcase, and I was like,
can't say more about it.
No, I can't. Because this would technically come out before it. But I've been looking for a box suitcase, and I was like, maybe they'll have it at like Spirit if they're up. But I couldn't find any info on it.
Because Spirit isn't down here this year.
Guess not.
Unless they're doing it like really like at beginning or middle of October, which I think would be stupid if they did that.
Yeah.
What about candy?
Yeah, I was getting to that. My favorite candy was not just my favorite candy, like just in general, but
your favorite thing to get.
Yeah, my favorite thing to get was always either Starbursts or Sweet Tarts.
Oh, you're a Sweet Tart guy.
Yeah, those were my favorite things to get. And my least favorite thing I always saw was either the not the gumballs, the jawbreaker things. What were they called? No, it was those like
Gobstoppers?
Yeah, those like those colored balls.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I never liked those. Because they didn't have any flavor.
I don't think it was Gobstoppers. I think Gobstoppers was a thing from Willy Wonka.
Yeah. And the wax bottles.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I never understood those. I thought you had to eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
But you have to bite off the tip and then.
Which is the stupidest thing ever.
If you're gonna
packaging
do that,
wise.
like the root beer gummies, those are awesome.
Yeah, at least Starburst knows that they at least made their wrappers edible. So it's
They
like
did.
if you're just lazy, you would just eat
The
it.
sticker on an apple is also edible.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's stuck there with sugar.
But yeah, that's why.
Let's focus on the more scary part. What was the most scariest thing?
But yeah, so I think my favorite thing about
Dragged on for a little bit.
it's just everything all at once.
What was the scariest moment you've had from Halloween?
I can think of a couple moments. If we're still going back to the holiday, I remember being really, really young, and my parents took me to a haunted mansion thing. It wasn't like the ones that you get like in Springfield, the hotel thing. It was like a local group had made this like.
Yeah, it's kind of like what my mom did.
Yeah. I remember
Alex, not now.
being just absolute freaked out as a kid. And my parents had to rush me out of that because I was screaming because I didn't like anything that was going on in there.
Just want to interrupt. I asked Alex what any costume that she wore for Halloween. She was the pink Power Ranger. It's pretty epic.
It's pretty epic.
Anyway, hi Alex.
But yeah, so there was that. And then there was also my cat's on the table. There was a moment where I went trick or treating, and these grown men jumped out of a bush to scare me.
See,
These grown ass men.
I was never affected by scares like that of grown men jumping out trying to scare the kids, because I always thought of it once they would do that, and I would stare back at them, and I would just think to myself, like, wow, that's so sad.
Well, it's because nobody did that on our street.
Right.
This was like the only time this
Did
ever
you always
happened.
have that one house on the street that you just didn't want to go to because it just made you uncomfortable?
No. Because we always had that one house on the street that always just went so extra with Halloween decorations, and I always wanted to go to it.
That's what my mom kind of did for a long time. Like, one year we put fake webbing and stuff all over our house.
There's a house near my parents' place. It was like this big red house. The owners are no longer there, but they used to every Halloween just absolutely decorate the house. And it was almost...
Trevor's cats are just all over the place.
They used to decorate it, and they basically were one step away from just making a haunted house. Like, you were just entering it, and it's a haunted house.
That's another reason I love Halloween. It's just all the decorating and stuff people do. Like, I'm not a big Christmas decorator. My mom is.
No, I'm
but
a big Christmas decorator.
I love Halloween decorations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love the little cheap plastic arms you plant in your yard to make it look like it's a cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, my mom and my stepdad spent an entire day coating our whole house, our whole front of our house, in those fake webs, roof and all, and put like those big foam spiders, the little plastic ones.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a projector thing in the window to make it look like there was like things behind the window.
Mm-hmm.
My mom used to go all out. This year she said she's going to be a little more kid-friendly for my nieces.
My my favorite Halloween decoration that I always saw, and what's funny is I always saw it every year, but I only saw it on one house every year. It was always the same house, but I only saw it on that one house. Nobody else had this decoration. It's the classic witch just slammed into the side of the wall.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing those at the store.
I feel like I see those everywhere in stores, but nobody has them up.
I've even remember seeing those in Country Mart.
Yeah.
And I've never... The
there
only
was-
time I've seen one person use it was my old daycare.
No,
And that was it.
There was one house on my old street where it was always the same one house that always.
And
had
I
it.
remember because we helped put it up.
Nice.
But yeah, I never really had
It's getting a little spooky in here.
be a man and jump out of a bush and scare some kids. Apparently there's a whale in the house.
I don't like this sound. I don't know what that is.
Was that supposed to be like zombies or
It
something?
just says horde.
So yeah, zombies.
I guess so.
Okay. But I never really had a scary moment on Halloween. It was usually me doing the scaring. Like I would be the one hiding behind the corner of the house and then running out.
I always wanted to do the thing.
I became the very thing I made fun of.
I always wanted to be the guy who would dress up as a scarecrow.
I tried doing that and just pretend to be an actual scarecrow.
I always wanted to do that, but it's a lot of work.
I think that was the year I dressed up as Jason. I didn't even really go trick-or-treating that much. I just wanted to do that all day. And I would sit on my porch, just kind of like slumped over, and I was really good at just not moving. I would just sit there
Yeah.
and kids were afraid to come up to the door.
Did you ever do pumpkin patches?
We didn't really go to a lot of them. I think I remember we went to one or two, maybe. We usually just bought our pumpkins and just carved them and everything at the house.
Yeah, I know.
Just bought them from the store.
But did you ever go to like a pumpkin patch for like events or whatever? Because usually a lot of pumpkin patches.
Yeah,
would be
I know they
more
got the.
than just buying
I was gonna
pumpkins.
say I know they got the thing where they pull the trailer on the tractor and.
Well, that's just a hayride. You get that generally anywhere.
I don't think I've been to a pumpkin patch, but I don't think I've ever been to a pumpkin patch for like an event or anything.
Okay, I every year it feels like I always went to the same pumpkin patch. I don't remember the name of it right now. What the heck is it? It's the one near Branson.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But we always went to that pumpkin patch, and it was always a grand old fun time because they had a big old corn maze. And they had a lot of fun events around and all that stuff. And what's really funny is they had a hay bale maze.
Okay.
It was a maze just
I don't
made
really
out of hay
and
bales.
I think that's mainly because I have really bad allergies to hay.
Really?
Yeah, like I'll get like rashes, and
interesting.
I
Well-
was constantly. It's like a dog when they sneeze, like 15 times in a row. That's me.
What's funny is that hay bale maze, nobody ever goes through it. You know what it is, though?
But
We always climb on it.
I was gonna say, I feel like you just climb on the hay bales.
Yep.
Then.
Yep. And what's funny enough is I remember going there, and this, I think, was like around the first year that they had those hay bales or whatever. And we like went through it, and it was fine. But then we just started climbing on it just for fun.
Right.
And ever since then, every year I always just see kids climbing on it.
They're
never
continuing
a
the
maze.
tradition.
Yeah, I'm glad that the owners don't care and that they just have the kids climbing
I
on
think
it.
that might have been why we
Because
never went.
I know I hurt myself on those things. Like I
think-
remember specifically being like, I can make this jump, and then immediately just slamming
Just planting.
slamming my body on the side of the hay bale and falling back.
Because I think that's why we never went. Because one, our mom didn't want us hurting ourselves,
Yeah.
and two, my allergies were really bad.
Yeah.
Because my uncle has a farm,
Mm-hmm.
and we would climb on the hay bales and stuff. You know, you climbing. By the end of the day, my arms were covered in rashes,
No, never
and
had
I
that
was
problem.
just sneezing so badly, and my nose was stuffed up.
My mom came from a farm, so I was around.
Well, it was
hay
weird because a lot of
so-
my family did too. I don't know. I just got bad
Well,
genes
I mean,
on that
it was
or
just-
something.
It was just a good way to test to see if I was allergic or not.
Right.
So, it just never
But yeah,
was.
never really. I think the only like you were there was when we went to the landing for that big Halloween party or something.
Big
There was that guy who dressed up as Frankenstein. He's like 7'2".
What?
Yeah, it was sophomore year of high school, I believe. You, me, and Cody went.
To a Halloween party?
It wasn't a Halloween. It was like a Halloween event they had at the landing.
I don't remember this in the slightest. I'll be honest. I don't. I'm trying to recall something in my brain.
Well, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. But I'm like, I would think I would remember something like that.
I wish I had a picture because I have the picture of me standing next to Frankenstein.
Yeah, I don't remember
I think
that.
you even took the picture.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember that really.
Well, we also weren't there for very long. I think we were there for like an hour and a half, and then you, me, and Cody were just like, yeah, let's just go home.
Again, don't remember. Because I remember going to the landing all the time for like more Christmas themed stuff, but the Halloween I don't remember that. But yeah, whatever.
Well, ironically enough, they never did another one after that.
Sounds about right. Yeah. So so you cover good pumpkin boy.
You want to try that again?
You
Speak
cover
English,
good boy. You cover
mongrel.
good pumpkin boy.
Did you call me a pumpkin-colored boy?
Pumpkin colored boy. No, did you? I'm assuming you carved pumpkins all the time.
I like to carve pumpkins.
Yeah. I was never good at it.
One of my favorite all-time memories. I don't know if my mom and my aunt and my brothers remember this. We had a pumpkin innard fight.
Oh God.
Where we scooped the innards of the pumpkin out and we just started throwing them at each other.
That's a goddamn mess.
It was all over the walls and the floor. I think I was living at Hollister at the time, maybe, but it was super fun. That was that's one of my favorite Halloween memories.
Yeah, I did carving pumpkins. I was never good at it though.
Oh no, I was horrible, but my brothers and aunts and my mom were really good. Like they would make it to like the pumpkins were throwing up, or they'd like make it red and then make it come out of the eyes. And mine was
were they doing that whole like shading thing where you're able to like skin it and it makes it slightly see through? Yeah,
and then mine was just the typical smile with the
triangle eyes. Yeah.
Because I was like 5.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I also didn't get to hold the tools a lot.
No. Well, I mean, those basic tools that I think you turn it the wrong way and it just bends.
Yeah. Would you trust me with a knife now?
No.
So me having one at 5 probably wasn't a good idea either. Sorry, I had a really good stretch. You know those stretches where you stretch your back and then also just...
Yeah. So I want to talk about something that we haven't talked about before on the podcast.
What's that? Cryptids. Oh, yeah, we never talked about those. Man.
Let's talk about Mothman real quickly.
What are cryptids?
What would your cryptid boyfriend be?
Are we really going to go through all that again?
Absolutely not. I just wanted to make that joke.
But we can talk about one thing. We can talk about ghosts.
Ghosts, the spooky, the supernatural, the boingy oingy and the nighty whitey.
Do they call them boingy oinkies?
I don't know. I do.
Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
You don't?
Not really. I think it's just like my cynical side.
Like it's kind of like you don't want to believe it.
I don't know. It's just more of that I haven't been given.
You haven't been given a proof.
Not even like proof.
Or an opportunity to.
Not even like proof, but just substantial like
evidence.
Like if someone like showed me something where it's like yeah, that's pretty spooky and I have no idea what's
happening.
Not
just like, oh, Ghost Adventures came out with an episode.
It's not like someone gives me a footage and a fucking plate falls off of a shelf. I'm like, that doesn't do anything for me. Like
Nuke's Top 5.
Watch Mojo, top 10 spookiest
and it just,
ghost sightings. This phone will leave you textless.
You know, it's always the same typical things. It's like, oh, a cabinet opened, stuff got knocked over.
Yeah.
I believe in ghosts. I even think I've had a few experiences myself growing up.
I don't know. I've just never been in a situation also in real life where something like that could happen.
My mom had a horrible experience, and I don't even know if she wants me to talk about it, even on the podcast. But
we'll talk about it right now.
I might anyway. Because I doubt she'll listen to this. Before it could have been before I was born or right as I was born.
It's midnight already.
Actually, it's 7:16.
Damn, he's got me.
My mom and my brother lived in a trailer where a man had recently, I don't want to say it on YouTube, pulled the plug on himself.
For the people at home, he what's the He game ended himself.
Yeah, he Sudoku'd himself with a pew pew.
God damn it.
And I don't really remember the exact details of the story. I think she told me one night my oldest brother and her woke up at the exact same time, went to the bathroom, and they saw the exact same thing in the mirror, which was a big shadowy man with glowing red eyes with a hole in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw it at the exact same time, ran down the hallway. My oldest brother told her what happened, and she told him the exact same thing. My uncle, who is a priest, had to come bless the house.
Mm-hmm.
So
Out of this house! Out of this house!
pretty much, yeah. So again, I don't know if she wanted me to tell that story on YouTube for the
That's
world to
fine.
hear, or because last time I brought it up, she got like super uncomfortable. She didn't want to talk about it. Because I mean, who would want to?
Yeah.
So it's not just me. My whole family. We've had a lot of those horses.
Sorry, I gotta rip this bong.
So you've never had
No.
any sort of experience or anything?
No. The closest thing is that my imagination gets to me too much. That's pretty much it.
Well, that's part of my problem. I believe in ghosts, but I also believe that my imagination will get too wild with my experiences sometimes.
Like, I'll wake up, I'll look in my room at night, and I'll be like, there's a figure right there. But that's just a shadow.
I feel like everybody's done that.
Yeah. That's the closest thing to it. The only time the only time I've been like spooked is like god damn it. Is whenever I'm like at home alone at night and I'll like look
Like you will be tonight.
I always am. I look
Ladies.
I look through my window and I think like a few times I've seen my own reflection and I thought it was someone looking
I won't
back
lie.
at me.
I've seen my own reflection in your window sometimes when we're hanging out. I think somebody's just staring in your window.
That I will say that is like my worst fear.
That's why you need to get better drapes.
Yeah, they're fine. That's like one of my worst fears living alone is that I'll just look through a window and someone's looking back at me. Don't know why. That's just a creepy thing.
Well, I mean, I feel like that would scare anybody.
Yeah, it would. Unless you got like that big muscle man who's like he just pulls out a shotgun. All right, I'm about to kill this man.
So you mean you?
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the ones that's been happening to me a lot, and this is actually recent.
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead. Play your dumb noise that you were going to play. Oh, yeah, it's a guy getting a blowjob. Cool.
All right.
Anyway, this has been happening to me recent. So, obviously, I moved out.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what?
No, this was when I moved out.
Oh, okay.
And before
I thought you told me you moved out of your parents' place. I was like, wait, you didn't tell me this?
And before I moved out, I had a cross in my room above my closet.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen my room.
Yes.
When I moved back into home, the cross wasn't hung up because I think I lost it in the move. So there's just a random cross out there. And ever since...
Anybody want a random cross for sale?
So, a few months... well, let's see. It's been I've been living at home again for like 2 years. About maybe a year and a half.
Yes.
A few months ago, I've been going to bed, and I'll wake up 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and it feels like somebody has walked into my room, gone to the side of my bed, and just is staring at me to the point where I've either turned around or I've done this with my hand. I don't know what this will do if there is somebody in my room.
Hey, you over there? Huh? Oh, is that your dick?
But it's to the point where I want to put a cross back in my room because it never happened when there was a cross in my room. And it's been happening ever since then. I don't know if it's like a mental thing.
What's funny is I think everybody has that innate fear of something behind you kind of thing.
It's not like I have it.
It's not even like that it's directly behind you type of thing, but that innate thing.
Oh, no,
where
this is. Like
well,
his head is like here. I'm sleeping here, and he's just looking down at me.
Yeah, I think everybody
For some
has...
reason, I think it's a man.
I think... sexist much?
Women can't be ghosts.
Women can't haunt people.
That's disgusting. That's perverted.
I think everybody has that innate fear where they feel like they're always being watched, type of thing. Like I think that's just like a nature thing where it's like we do that to protect ourselves, type of thing.
Right.
Like I remember,
Like that's kind of an animal instinct.
yeah. I like always.
sort of
I
thing.
always remember being at my parents' place, and every time I would enter the bathroom, I would have to open up the shower curtains because they would be like closed.
See, I never had that problem.
I had that problem sometimes. If there was other people in the house, it was fine. But if I was the only one in the house, I would have to do that.
I have a problem with closing the blinds in the bathroom though, because one day, I guess, like 2 a.m., I guess there was somebody outside our house,
Cool.
just walking around,
Awesome.
and it wasn't even after that. I've been doing that before that because I always have this innate fear while I'm taking a shit or something. Someone's just gonna peek right through the window,
Saw it, dude.
and just like everything
At
goes.
that point, I just stare him down and be like, "Yeah, I'm shitting, man."
You're gonna come in here. You're gonna help me finish. But yeah, I have this. And my mom hates it. I know she does, and I can't help but do it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go to the bathroom, I have to shut the blinds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. When'd you get dogs?
I don't know. They just decided to come here, I guess.
Those are the raccoons.
Oh.
But yeah, that's pretty scary when that happens. Because, they say, it's a study they've done, if you wake up just randomly in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
it's because your brain is responding that something is looking at you.
I could see that, but I also don't understand it sometimes.
It's like when you're asleep and your buddy sneaks up to you to pull a prank on you, and somebody's walking up, so you just wake up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. Your brain is telling you, "Hey, somebody's nearby," so you wake up, and it's not like you're like groggy. It's a full wake up, like you're up. That's happened to me a lot.
I also don't have my windows next to where I sleep, so that
Well,
might be a thing.
I do, but my blinds are always closed.
Mine are too, but again, they're at the corner of my room.
And it's not the window I'm afraid of. It feels like somebody has walked through my front door and just walked right up to the side of my bed, and it's just staring at me.
You know what? I think you would absolutely hate being in this house.
Actually, I wouldn't mind.
I think you would hate being at this house in the middle of the night, out in the middle of nowhere, because this is basically the middle of nowhere, and it's just nothing.
I think the only part that would bug me
is that just the forest out there.
Yes, because we made a video one time. It was you, me, and Cody.
Mm-hmm.
We were going through the forest, and all of a sudden, randomly, a gunshot goes off.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah, there's just the...
Yeah, but those are just my noisy
And you
neighbors.
also told us to look out for homeless people.
Did I?
Yeah. That was a big point you made. You said, look out for homeless people.
I didn't make that point.
I feel like you did.
That's not a thing.
I feel
Here,
like, I feel
at
like
least.
it would
That's not a
be.
thing that... No, I think I might have warned you about...
Well, I mean, there could be anything
No,
in there.
I warned you about the gunshots.
Yeah.
I definitely know I did that.
I feel like there could be a bear back there, a mountain lion maybe,
I highly doubt the bear.
bobcat.
I could see those.
You don't think a bear could be back there? I think a bear could.
No, one, it's too noisy. And
Oh, bear don't care.
oh, a bear don't care.
Bear go wherever it wants.
Bears could go wherever we go.
But bear necessities. That's a bear right there. It's one of those banshee bears.
No, I don't think a bear would hang around there.
You know what? Speaking of which, there is a part of your house that scares me. It's when I leave, because I'm going to my truck while it's pitch black dark out, and I always
Just
have
my
this.
big open.
I have this feeling that like something's gonna run up and just get my legs,
Yeah.
like one of the cats or something. So I kind of like speed walk to my truck.
It's those deers.
Yeah,
There's
I
skinwalkers
mean,
out
it
there.
could.
That deer's gonna come and it's running on two legs.
Doing Naruto runs.
I would run at that.
I would run towards it. Like, oh, cool, you like anime too?
Just punch him in the face.
Actually, I'm not really scared of stuff like that.
What, like urban legend type stuff?
Yeah. I mean,
we'll get back into
don't get me
cryptids.
wrong, they're creepy, but do I think they're real? No.
No. I mean the idea of like a skinwalker. That's like primal, like
Yeah, I mean,
thing
it's-
of like uncanny valley type stuff.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why people would be creeped out by it.
But
type
it's
of
just, really?
But it could be the trees around you.
It could be the Babadook.
The Babadook. This is a Baba.
Another one was me and my brother Eli. We're probably...
Oh, that dumb fuck.
Thank God he doesn't listen to these. He's getting ready to play another sound. Eli. That's Eli. That's what he sounds like. I didn't know he was here. Anyway.
Yeah, anyways.
He was probably 10, so I would have been 8 at my dad's house. My dad's house scared me. The old house that he lived in.
Okay.
I did believe that house was haunted.
Where was this house at?
In Springfield.
Oh, okay.
It was actually near my grandma's house, which my grandma's house also scared me too sometimes.
Wait to meet me, huh?
So I'll get into that next. The way the house worked, you had the living room there. You walk down a hallway, bathroom, room. My room was right there. And you remember when the Wii Fit came out, it had that skateboard attachment?
Skateboard?
Yeah, you could put a skateboard on it or a snowboard or something. It's part of the game.
I remember the Wii Fit balance board, but...
Yeah, it came with a skateboard attachment. It's pretty epic. Never used it.
Let me see a picture of this.
And the way we had it, when we were done with it, it came clipped in, so it had those big long hooks on it so you could clip into the sides. And so we had bunk beds at the time.
What the fuck?
Did you find a picture of it?
Is this it?
It was like that, but it was all white.
Okay, yeah.
So it had the big hooks on the side,
Mm-hmm.
and we had bunk beds, so we would clip it on the top hook. Now, it was on there, like it was under the wood, it wasn't coming up. It was hanging there one time, and I don't remember the specifics of what happened. We were walking out of the room, we didn't use it at all, and it just fell, and it was loud.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so loud, me and my brother screamed as loud as we could.
Bam!
Now, the only way that could have happened is if it was moved out, picked up, and dropped. Because, again, it was on there.
Mm-hmm.
Scared the ever-living hell out of us.
There was a moment... So, I famously don't like horror movies. I'm not a huge fan of, like, scary game type
You
stuff.
do not like scary games, no.
No.
Baby.
Shut the hell up. Back in the day, me and Cody, we used to play Dead Space all the time.
Who?
Cody.
Never heard of him.
And that was notorious for us, like, just trying to get through the game is like a nightmare. Like, just trying to get to the next checkpoint is, like, just a challenge in and of itself.
I think, ironically, the scariest moment I've ever had gaming was also with Cody when we played Slenderman.
Yeah. I also have another moment with that. But there was a very, very famous moment where we were playing Dead Space, and like at the end of like a hallway, we could see a checkpoint, and so we run towards it. And as soon as we're like right in front of it, to the point where you could activate it, a necromorph comes out of like the side of the screen to attack us, and we're like dead. We're like, no, we're good. Another moment that happened, that this was like actual like deep fear for some reason for us. We were also playing Slenderman, and it was one of the later levels. We were like on a farm or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that level, nothing happens, basically. Nothing until the very end, where you finally like complete something and it like becomes nighttime. And
Yeah.
And we went like right into a church and there's like nothing there.
I think you and me may have gotten scared on the same part.
We like turn around and then we look back and Slenderman's like right there.
Oh, no, never mind.
And this is like the only point where I physically remember both me and Cody literally leapt out of our chairs. And like I ran over to the door to just like do that. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done with this game.
You were blocking the door off just in case he was outside.
Well, I just wanted to get as like far away as possible, but
Yeah, ours was, we were also in the barn or the church or whatever. He's getting ready to play sound again. It's always when I'm talking.
No. Actually, like continue. Yeah.
And it was just a jump scare of like a little boy or something or a little kid in a church. And me and Cody just like both Are you looking up the video of me and Cody playing Slenderman?
Just keep going.
You're looking up bad dudes with attitudes?
Just keep going.
That's it. That's literally the whole story.
Is it?
Yeah. am I gonna hear, "Hey, we're in Forsyth and it's fucking cold"? Is that a door?
Hell yeah!
Are we gonna get copywritten by Cody?
That's when Cody would actually hang out with me.
Oh, just gonna skip that part. That's part's copywritten. I know that because I had to check that on the channel.
This is when Cody actually hung out with me.
So I haven't played this game in probably years. Have you ever played this?
Great gameplay, guys, and hilarious commentary. Had a good laugh watching this. Dropped you a sub. Keep up the good work. TTS.
Who said that?
A comment name TTS in below this video.
Thanks, TTS. If you're listening, which would be really weird if you did, how'd you find this channel?
Where's the point where you guys poop yourself?
Fuck if I remember. There was a lot of points in the game where me and Cody were both like handing the controller off to one another. They're like, I don't want to play anymore, you play. Okay, I don't want to play anymore, you play.
I just want to see if there's a part where you... All right, let's go to part 2.
Ah, there's a cat.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ah. Trevor, have you ever considered that one day around your property there could be a fight like in The Incredible Hulk in 2006? Where a big green roided up man fights 3 big roided up dogs.
Listen, that first of all, not 2006, 2003. All right, check yourself. Second of all, yes, I have.
As a matter of fact, just last week.
Yes, I have.
Are you prepared for the consequences of that fight?
Absolutely not. I want to see Hulk fucking just deck a dog right in the nuts,
Just like he did in the movie.
just like in the movie.
There's going to be a poodle and a...
There's a real lack of scares going on in this gameplay. God, this is so boring.
It's almost like our Alien video.
Spoilers, by the way, we're playing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, carry on.
Oh, me?
Yeah, the Hulk. The scariest movie ever known to man.
2003's The Hulk.
Ang Lee directed.
Remember when his dad beat him and his wife?
Well, he killed his wife.
Yeah, he beat her a little too hard.
If I'm correct, the exact line was, when my knife was inserted into her, she died.
When in Rome.
When in Rome. Like, cool. This is a good movie. Yeah, so I say we stop talking about all this fake shit. Let's talk about the real shit.
Oh, I had one more story, but okay.
Well, you want to carry on?
I think my work's haunted.
You think the car museum's haunted?
Yeah.
All right, let me hear about this.
And I'm not the only one who thinks that. Like, 4 other people agree with me.
Let me hear about this.
So at the end of the day, we have to turn all the lights off, all the TVs off. So it is pitch black in there.
Yeah.
And every time I do, when I'm walking around the corner, you remember where the DeLorean was? Around the corner, get near the garage door. As I'm leaving, I always turn around and make sure all the TVs are off. And every time, the same spot, right next to that Pink Panther statue, there's just somebody standing there just looking. I can make out all the details, and they're just staring right at me.
You know what, Gabe?
Well, you know that somebody actually died in the museum.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was a
Wait,
manager.
Did he die when it was the car museum or
Yes.
just the building?
No, when it
beforehand?
was the car museum. So you know that the door next to the vending machines, that's kind of like that back office area?
Yeah.
He died in there.
Okay.
Technically, he had a heart attack, and he died on the property.
Okay, well, that still counts.
And ever since they told me that, that's when I've started noticing all this
Well, guys,
stuff.
you've heard it here first. The Busy Boys going to become professional ghost hunters, going straight into the car museum.
I would love a video like that.
I know. We just have it.
Maybe next year's Halloween.
Maybe next.
We have me and my... Actually, if you want to tag along, Trevor, we've made plans to stay overnight at the museum.
That's a Monday night.
It's either going to be Monday or Sunday.
Okay, that would be the day before Halloween. But
Yeah, I told him we can't do the 28th because that's when we're doing our party.
Party.
If anybody wants to show up, just come to Trevor's house. His address is...
Please, no.
But yeah, we're going to stay overnight.
Honestly, that would sound fun mainly just because I would be with you,
Right.
and I know that me and you would not like at all take it
No.
seriously. We would just
Even if it was haunted, it'd be like, "Oh, dumb, stinky ghost."
ha stupid. It's like someone's like being possessed and like floating up.
Oh, look who died.
Oh, I can see the strings attached. It's so lame.
Oh, those are all practical effects.
I can see the CGI seams here. It's not good.
You can see the outline of the green screen. Come on, guys, you're not even trying that hard.
Someone's like spinning in the air.
But yeah, if you want to come to that, I'm sure you could.
It would sound fun, but I have no idea what I'm doing that day anyway. So
Well, when you find out, don't tell me.
Okay. Who are you doing it with? How many others? I guess.
It's gonna be me, my good friend Mallory, my good friend maybe Harley, my maybe good friend Devin.
Okay. So 3 others.
Possibly 4. It's either going to be 3 or 4 because one of them might be busy.
Okay. Well, I was just curious.
So if you wanted to tag along,
I gotta like walk in and I'm like, I have like cameras just attached everywhere.
you look like a
I'm
literal Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
You
All
get
right,
to
I'm here
you
to
get to
bust
sleep
some
in a
ghosts.
car,
That sounds like the most uncomfortable thing in the world.
but not the Mystery Machine. I already called dibs on that. So fuck you. You can take the A-Team van.
Oh, okay.
You can take the JFK Kennedy car.
Yeah, the one that looks like it's falling apart by the inside.
Yeah, it smells like the 60s.
Hell yeah, dude.
Probably the car that's the most haunted probably in there.
No, I'll sleep on Bumblebee. So
on top of them.
on top of him. So I'm gonna stop talking about this fake shit, okay?
Trevor's getting scared like
No,
a
this is
baby.
real. Let's talk about the real shit, all right?
Poltergeist.
Movies.
Movies aren't real.
Movies are they're real to me.
Oh yeah, if movies are real, name 3 of them. Yeah, that's what I thought. Shut up.
I can't.
Yeah, that's what I thought, idiot. Fuck you.
Fuck you. No, I want to talk about scary movies and videos.
No.
Goodbye, everybody. I guess that's it.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, which one do you feel like talking about first? You need to talk about like movies and stuff.
We can talk about movies.
Movies.
Yeah, we can talk about movies.
Movies.
What's your first experience with a scary movie, Trevor? ASMR. I'm gonna talk to the top of you. I'm gonna talk to the top.
I actually don't know what was my first scary.
I do.
movie. What was yours?
I vividly remember this. It was
Jaws.
No, I never thought of Jaws as a horror movie. Actually, it is one of my favorite movies, which is weird because I have thalassophobia.
It's a horror movie to you.
Actually, I couldn't finish the movie 47 meters down.
Is that an underwater movie?
That's the one where the shark cage breaks off and it sinks to the bottom,
Uh-huh.
and there's just sharks everywhere. I couldn't finish that.
That was not a sound effect
But
on my board.
I vividly remember this because I still haven't seen this movie to this day because it scared the bejesus out of me.
You ever seen the movie Atlantis?
Disney's Atlantis?
Yeah. Is that terrifying?
Yeah, that's what it was. How'd you know? Were you there? My dad was staying at my cousin's house watching it for before they moved in, and it was a big house, like 2 stories. It was huge in a fancy neighborhood because they were rich and we weren't. Just kidding.
Gotcha.
But it did have like the giant round staircase. There was like 5 rooms upstairs, a basement, and there was one of those staircases, or one of those rooms under the stairs, if I remember correctly.
Like that Harry Potter was in?
No, idiot. It's the one that led to the basement.
Oh, okay, got it. Oh, the one that's like in every horror movie ever?
Yep.
The one where you open it and it's like all brick wall and there's
And
like a single dangling light.
I don't remember the specifics of the movie, but all I remember is my dad, I believe he was on a date because, my dad gets all the ladies.
Well, he was.
My
You know what? Never mind.
My dad's a handsome man. You gonna make a joke about my mom?
Maybe.
Fuck you. My mom's a sweetheart. She's a lovely woman.
No, I wasn't gonna make fun of her.
My mom's awesome. She makes bread.
I was gonna make fun of your dad.
Don't make fun of my dad.
Oh well.
I'm gonna make fun of your dad.
Okay.
He has a well-paying job.
Yeah.
You don't.
True. I think you just roasted me, not my dad.
Yeah, get shit on.
Get shit on, idiot.
Anyway,
Yeah, carry on.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a movie called Hide and Seek.
I don't recognize the name right now. Let's look it up.
And
Is it hide and seek or hide and seek?
hide and seek, I believe it was what it was called.
2005.
And my dad said, "Hey, don't come downstairs. We're watching a movie."
It's got Robert De Niro in it.
Does it?
It says
Again, I haven't seen that movie.
it's got Dakota Fanning. All right.
I haven't seen that movie since this time because it scared the absolute hell out of me. It was me and my brother, and my dad, again, was on a date because he gets all the ladies.
It's all the ladies.
He said, "Don't come downstairs. He was watching a movie." Well, automatically, we're like, "What's he watching?"
Gotta come down now.
Because last time he did that, he was watching a movie that wasn't scary at all.
Mm-hmm.
So we snuck around. We were secretly, and then our dad caught us. He goes, "All right, fine. You want to watch it? We'll watch it." Because my dad was trying to teach us a lesson. We watched the whole movie. I don't remember exactly what happens. The only part I remember.
Does that look at all familiar?
Let's take a look here. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So it is Robert De Niro then.
What I vividly remember is there was one point in the movie that involved a room under the stairs.
Oh, God.
And I think it was like there was a evil ghost kid or something. He was like, "Oh, I'm playing hide and seek with whatever the fuck his name was."
Yeah, Jimmy.
Bob. And we watched the whole movie. It did terrify us.
Mm-hmm.
Never went near that room again. Until, again, it was like years passed. They were still living there. And I had to go downstairs to help them get stuff for their pool. Because, again, they were filthy rich.
Okay.
Just kidding. And that was the first time I went down into that room, leaned towards the basement, since seeing that movie. To this day, I do not like rooms that are like that because of that movie.
What if I had one in my house?
I would hate. You kind of almost do technically.
Well, it's not on the inside. It's an outside.
Yeah, but your basement is still fucking creepy.
What are you talking about? It's perfectly fine.
Pull up a picture of it.
I hate you. No, it's fine. It's almost. I mean, I make a joke about it in like every video. Like if I need a place that's like creepy
To do a satanic ritual,
it's technically
which
that
Trevor
happened.
actually does at his house. He's invited me to a few. I don't want to go. Wow,
I mean-
all your cats are out right now. This is incredible. This is a sight to behold.
Yeah, I know.
Hi, Andy.
What if you like eyes just went red and just
Somehow a cat flipped me off. I don't know how that's possible.
what if you like flew through the air and just went straight?
But yeah, ever since then, I can't stand doors under stairways.
Interesting.
Like those rooms in general.
my
I don't like cat fight. Andy and Losi.
Oh, Losi's being too rambunctious.
Fucking little shit.
My uncle's house has a in one of the thinner hallways. One of the thin hallways, there's a door, and you open it, and it's like an immediate staircase downwards, and it's like brick and everything like that. I don't know. I think they're cool. Reminds me of
A simpler time.
no, reminds me of the Blair Witch.
God, what an awful movie.
I like the Blair Witch.
It's good.
I think the Blair Witch is a good movie.
It's all right. I'm not a big fan of the Blair Witch.
Are you not a fan of found footage?
I actually love found footage films. I just, for some reason, the Blair Witch Project just.
Was it too slow for you? Because that's usually the critique that I always hear is that people usually they're like nothing happens.
I don't think it was
nothing
too
happens
slow.
For,
I
like,
think it's been a while
majority.
since I've seen it.
Mhm.
I think it just confused me a lot.
I think you should give it. First of all, make sure you're watching the actual first
Well,
one.
yeah.
I
I started off with 3.
I started off with the remake. I was real confused. No, I think you should watch it again.
I do know a lot of people make jokes about the end where she's like, the camera's in her face, she's like dripping snot and everything. She goes,
Yeah. But I think you should give it a watch again just to see if opinions changed at all. Or if
okay, yeah, I was
see if
going
it's
to say, because
different,
I
whatever.
actually love found footage movies.
I think if you gave it another watch, I think you would really like it because I think it's actually really like genius how they made it.
Well, we were talking about this earlier. Speaking of found footage, we were talking about Paranormal Activity, the movies.
Yeah.
This
This is my chance. I can look up all the paranormals. Okay, this is a good.
I've only seen I've seen all of them. The first one is okay, but the rest of them are just stupid.
So I I sat down and I watched every single one of them except for the new one that came out. There was a new one that came out. I haven't seen that one.
Well, of course there has a new one.
I watched all of them because I just wanted to.
Right.
First one I think is actually really, really good.
I think it's okay.
I think it really champions that.
Poor dog died.
Yeah, I think it really champions that you can just make a movie with no budget,
Right.
And you can do it effectively. I also think it's a really good idea that they don't show anything.
Yeah.
Like majority of the stuff that you see is a lot of practical,
Like
things that
off-screen stuff.
Yeah, it's off screen or it's
like
very
back to the
minimal
dog.
type
I think
stuff.
the dog gets dragged off-screen, or something, or gets dragged in the basement or something. Right.
The girl gets dragged off the bed and then the guy wakes up, and she's like stopped.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
Something happens with the dog.
is that the second one? Second one has another dog in it.
It was a German Shepherd.
That's the second one.
Is it the second one? Maybe I was thinking
Yeah.
of the second one where the dog gets.
I think that's the second one. But anyways, the first one I think is actually really good. I also think like the ending of it's like perfect. It's like
When he
genuinely
flies
creep-
at the camera.
Yeah, whenever it's like just that long shot where it's just like nothing happens. Perfect. Second one. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Second one is a direct sequel to the first one, and it picks up after the events of it.
The second one doesn't really bother me that much.
Second one's fine. The best thing about it is that the second one has these really like creepy like tracking shots.
Yeah.
Because that was the whole point of the movie, was like the camera would like move side to side.
Yeah,
really
like it's on a
slowly.
fan or something.
Yeah. Really effective. And also it has like one of the coolest like practical scenes where like the whole house basically like implodes.
Oh yeah,
All
yeah.
the stuff like comes off. Really cool scene. But generally not the best movie ever to exist.
I think Paranormal Activity has suffered from
Success.
the first movie got to their heads, and they're like, "Hey, let's just
Well,
keep dumping them. People are
First
gonna watch
movie
them."
was just massively successful.
If they stopped at the first movie, guarantee it would have been a scary movie cult classic.
Well, I still think the first one is. I think it's up
I
there.
feel
I
like-
think it's like a stage below where Blair Witch is, where it's just up there of really
See,
interesting found
I would
footage
like to
stuff.
think it's up there, but I think the sequels have now just tainted it.
I don't think it's tainted the first one for me.
That'd be like if you watch. Okay, so the first Nightmare on Elm Street, I know we use that a lot
Yeah.
as an example. The first one is actually scary and creepy.
To a point,
There's
yes.
it's got that cheesiness factor, like the part where he's walking down the hallway and he's got really long arms,
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like that last shot of the film is not
where he's
good.
pulling the bomb through the door and you can clearly tell it's a
It's
doll.
just a doll. He's like, that's not good.
But for the time, it was actually really creepy and
I think
stuff.
even for the time, that doll's a little cheapo. But
Well, it's supposed to be fast.
anyways,
if you watch
that
the
first movie on its own is a good movie. It has genuinely like creepy ideas and moments.
But
like,
then you get down the line, all of a sudden he's got a power glove and he's a TV column. He's like, "Welcome to prime time, bitch."
and it's fucking weird, but that's why I love it.
But I love it. But
but it's a level of like ridiculousness and / bad.
like, don't get me
goofiness.
wrong, I am perfectly fine with horror movie sequels adding a little bit of goofiness to it.
Yeah.
But when your whole movie is based off goofiness more than the horror factor,
Yeah.
it gets a little old.
Well, it's like
Like, look at Leprechaun. That movie is supposed to be a scary movie.
it's not.
It's not.
It's just not.
Don't get me wrong, I love Warwick Davis.
Which Leprechaun movie was it? Whenever they went to space, is that the
Could
third one?
have been the fourth one.
Let me look at it.
Leprechaun 3 is Leprechaun in the Hood.
By the way, audience, if you've never watched the Leprechaun movies, give it a
Please
shot.
do. And then they had the weird remake that WWE made. Yeah,
WWE made it.
WWE Studios made a remake of Leprechaun.
All right, so there's Leprechaun, Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun 4 is in space.
Okay, so I was right.
Leprechaun in the Hood is the next one. That's the fifth one.
And then back to the Hood.
Yep. And then Leprechaun Origins, and then Leprechaun Returns.
Yeah, so like in 2014, WWE,
That's Origins.
the wrestling company, mind you,
Yeah.
made a Leprechaun movie because at the time they had a wrestler called Hornswoggle who was a leprechaun. And they made him.
What was the thought process there?
He didn't even look like a leprechaun. He looked like a chupacabra monster.
What was the name of this guy?
Hornswoggle.
WWE.
And his whole character was he's just a leprechaun.
What's his outfit? Oh boy. What? I mean, he's wearing green.
Yeah. But it was just so stupid. I watched the whole movie because I was like, oh, WWE made it, so I'll watch it, just see who's in it. Yeah, no, it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's awful. Like, oh, you can only run just so far in the field and they won't chase you anymore. It's like, what?
What are you talking about?
You should look up what they looked like in that movie.
Let's see. Leprechaun Origins.
Because they didn't even look like... At least Warwick Davis had that leprechaun look.
Mm-hmm.
Where he just had, like, leprosy or something.
Why did he go to that? I wanted Origins, not that.
These just look like chupacabra monsters with thick legs.
Images. What the fuck is this? It's a fucking...
Chupacabra with thick legs.
What the fuck?
Anybody listening?
I hate its teeth.
Yeah, it's dumb. Like, when I first saw that...
That's a leprechaun.
Let me take a look at that.
Oh, whoop. Wait.
Yeah, it's so stupid. When I first saw that, I
It's
thought...
Gollum.
Yeah, it's literally Gollum. Or a goblin.
Yeah, it's a goblin.
When I saw that...
Goblin.
When I watched it, I was like, oh, is this like the leprechaun's pet or something? I was like, nope, that's the leprechaun.
No. Have you...
And there's like a whole pack of them. It's not just one.
All right, getting off of like cheapo movies.
We're gonna talk about good horror movies.
Well, we can, but I want what's a horror movie that you've never been able to finish? Not because it was so bad.
Oh, easy.
Well, you named that water one, but I don't think that's a horror movie.
No, that's just because of my
Yeah.
phobia. It was one of the Annabelle movies.
Really?
Yeah, one of those. Now I love horror movies. Like
I don't.
I don't mind horror movies that much. But for some reason, man, I don't remember if it was one of the Conjuring or because I know it's the same.
Same universe. What?
It might have been Annabelle 2. Where I could not finish it.
Annabelle creation. Annabelle comes home.
Annabelle comes.
Annabelle comes.
She's a naughty girl. Yeah, I couldn't finish it.
Interesting.
And The Nun. Couldn't finish The Nun.
No, I wasn't interested in those James Wan movies, I guess.
James Bond.
James Wan?
Oh, what does that have to do with this topic?
The guy who made those movies?
I'm not a big fan of Sean Connery's movies. Yeah.
No,
I think it was just those two.
there's only one horror
Oh, wait. There is another one. If my mom is listening, she'll be mad if I don't bring it up.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was called. It was something at the Pendulum. It was an old movie.
The Pendulum?
Something, the Pendulum. Let me
Pendulum.
let me text my mom.
The Pit and the Pendulum.
It's an old movie.
Oh, the Pendulum?
Is it Pendulum?
Is it the Pit and the Pendulum? It's 1961.
It was supposed to be a black and white movie.
This 1961 would be
So that might be it.
not too far off.
I don't know why.
This is color. This has got fucking what's his face? Guy who does thrillers.
Michael Jackson.
No, the other guy, creepy guy.
Oh, he goes, oh, beware.
Yeah, that guy.
I don't know. Let me text my mom. What's my mom's phone number?
Vince Price. That's his name. Never mind.
Vincent Price. He's a good actor.
He's dead.
When did he die?
A while ago, I think. Vincent Price. 93. So yeah, a while ago.
Okay, well, while we wait for my mom to respond, I can still talk about the movie. I just don't remember the name. It was a really old movie, and for some reason, older movies, when they try to do horror stuff, really freaks me out because it just...
Really?
Yeah,
Usually
because...
it's the opposite for a lot of people. Usually whenever they watch older horror movies, it
Well, I
doesn't
know...
work
I'm not talking about, like, the stuff like Jaws and, stuff that was supposed to be scary. Like, even the creature from the Black Lagoon. I'm talking about, like, Night of the Living Dead. Like
The Haunting.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like something that is like their first attempt at Night of the Living Dead. That scares me more than other zombie stuff. Because I feel like the zombie type and genre has just gotten overplayed and overused. So
Well, yeah, but there's some good stuff that comes out.
like
of
there's
it.
always a different twist on them.
Yeah.
In that old movie, it's just the basics.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, the ending is just like profound.
yeah.
It's like, oh no.
Like old movies like that
Yeah.
really creep me out. But
Have you ever seen The Haunting, the old black and white film?
The Haunting?
Yeah.
No, but my mom watches the show The Haunting of Hill House.
It's based off of that.
Yeah, I don't watch that.
The Haunting. I think you should give that movie a shot. It's genuinely like pretty creepy, but it's like also really really.
Oh,
good.
apparently there was two. My mom just said one and then and.
One and what?
Yeah, she named one movie and then and.
Oh,
so
okay.
that means there's probably going to be more. I don't remember this one. It's called House of Wax. That might have been my brother. So that might have been like wax figures coming to life or something.
So the 50s film version, because there's a remake.
Yeah.
Also. This also has Vincent Price in it.
Okay, it was The Pit and the Pendulum. But I remember it being a
That
black-
also has Vincent Price in it.
Maybe it's just Vincent Price. Maybe I'm just scared of him.
I'm scared of his face.
I don't remember the House of Wax. That might have been my brother. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Okay.
That was either Eli or Jordan. I don't remember.
Interesting.
But, yeah, I was halfway through the movie. Actually, I wasn't even like 30 minutes in. And there wasn't anything scary. So you know how they play scary music in movies?
Yeah.
That never scares me.
Mm-hmm.
It's when there's no
Nothing?
sound.
Yeah.
Like it was a land shot of just like this cliffside. Everything, the wind was blowing and everything, all of a sudden it just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just sitting there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is awful.
Yeah.
It's like, what's about to happen?
Yeah. It's like it's funny because there's a lot of movies that elicit a fear reaction out of me that aren't even really horror based. Like not even like tapping into my phobia or anything like that. Like
Trevor has tryptophobia.
not tryptophobia.
Afraid of tripping.
Like 10 Cloverfield Lane. That movie stresses me out and like it terrifies me.
See,
But it's also because it is such a like claustrophobic even though I don't have claustrophobia, it's such like a claustrophobic feel of like you don't know what
I feel
anybody's
like
gonna
I have
do in this
claustrophobia, so I know what you're talking about.
But the one horror movie that I watched where I literally turned it off and couldn't watch it through anymore is The Descent.
Really?
That
I can see that.
movie fucks me up because like whenever it opens
Whoop, open the wormhole now. Mom's texting me again.
nice
Oh, the old movies, Vincent Price.
Yep. So, if you don't know, The Descent is a French film
Yeah.
that
We talked about it in French class actually one time.
made in like mid 2000s, I think, early 2000s, somewhere around there.
I think it was
Um,
mid. I think it came out in like 2005.
Opening of the film is like really strong. Someone immediately dies right off the back in a
Yep.
car accident. And so you're like, all right, cool.
Haha.
Haha. No, but then what happens is that the gang of characters,
The gang. Scoob and the gang.
yeah, they start going spelunking into a cave.
Why don't you explain what spelunking is?
Spelunking is, if you don't know, is whenever you and a group are like basically like free-form diving into a cave. Basically, you have like harnesses on.
Like
and
there's
you
a
just,
pit of water at the bottom and you're just bloop.
well, not even water. It's just like any open.
Or just a cave in general, yeah.
But they start doing that. And it gets to there is a scene where they start crawling through a hole, and the main character like has a panic attack in that hole, and I'm like, I'm done, I'm out. And what's even funnier, that's like maybe 20 minutes into the film.
Yeah, that's
I
not
didn't
even-
I didn't even get to the part where like the monster,
The little gremlins start
yeah,
coming out?
I didn't even get to that part.
See, I understand that completely because my family
I was like, fuck this.
me and my family, we used to go caving
Yeah.
and it got to a point where I had to stop. I couldn't keep going because they were going through such tight spaces.
Yeah.
And
I would have had
Even thinking about it now, just
I would have had a panic attack if I was in those situations.
and I've seen too many videos of like the scuba divers who are going in those tunnels. All of a sudden, they get stuck there, and you're just like,
was it you that showed me the video where it's like the guy who's like pretending to do like spelunking, where he's like, "Oh, I'm in the middle of a cave. I'm really pressed up against the wall. I really just shaved off left my nipple. We're good though."
yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? This is really what it's like.
Took all the precautions.
Yep.
I didn't eat for 7 weeks ahead of time, so
I'm like, why do people do this?
so they're like railroad spike thin.
Yeah. I'm like, God
I've
damn.
my family, we've been caving and rock climbing.
Mm-hmm.
Rock climbing like 80-foot cliff sides. I would rather do that
Then be
than caving.
Yeah. Yeah, I would too.
And I hate heights.
I don't hate heights. I have somewhat of an anxiety towards them, but it's not like a problem.
My fear of heights is a little weird. If I'm flying in a plane, I feel like I would be okay.
Yeah, I was flying in a plane.
So it's like driving in a car almost.
Yeah.
If I'm on a roller coaster or something, it scares the hell out of me.
Not really to me.
I'm just terrified of heights.
I think it's like depends on the
I
situation.
have
Like
3 whole phobias.
I think if you like put me in a harness up like high enough, that freaks me out.
And see, I don't really think I used to always be afraid of heights. Because like I said, we went rock climbing a lot. I think this just became a thing as I got older.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like the ocean. I wasn't always afraid of the ocean.
And then it looked back at me.
And then something looked back.
And I was terrified from
I
them.
think
that day on. Ooh, spooky.
Sorry, you scared me.
I haven't had a sound effect in a while, so.
I think the thing that finally made me afraid of the ocean.
Yeah, everybody can hear that, by the way.
Sorry, my foot was getting cut on my mic stand.
Sorry, I had to jiggle my dick a little bit there.
It was a news story, of course. Where else? In Australia. And it was the reports
You know
of
they lost to emus, right?
And it was a story about how something took a giant chunk bite out of a 17-foot great white shark. And they said, the only thing that really hunts sharks are killer whales and other sharks.
Yeah.
And the jawline measurement and everything don't match up to an orca, which means there was a shark bigger than 17 feet that took a bite out of that shark.
Is this like a mini megalodon?
I hate those people. Like, oh, the megalodon's still out
The
there.
megalodon, it's still. Oh, I got a tooth from it.
Yeah, that really bugs me. It irritates me. I won't get into the.
But Gabe, that hit movie, The Meg,
I won't get into it.
it made
but
like $5.
It really annoys me when
It
people
got Bald
do that.
Man in it.
Yeah, I actually really like that movie.
Anyways, back to horror movies. Yeah, so I don't like horror films really.
No, I was gonna say
it takes a very specific thing to push me to want to watch
'cause
one.
you don't even like cheesy horror movies, don't you?
No, I like things like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, so we're just like so cheesy, like
Yeah,
like Jaws.
Yeah, but that's not a horror film, and
It's supposed it's
it's not in a traditional
first
sense.
summer blockbuster.
Yes, but
Like Jurassic Park is technically a horror movie.
but like I hate movies like Saw.
See, I
don't like that.
I hate Saw not because it's a horror movie. I think it's an excuse for a gore fetish group.
It's 100% torture porn. That's
Yeah,
what it is. I hate those movies.
And I
too.
hate that in general. I hate torture porn horror.
Yeah,
Like scary horror, that's good. I like
but
that.
that's what I feel like most horror movies
That's what they've
tend
turned
to
into now.
turn into, and I don't like that.
It's either a movie that was based off a true event that they just changed the details of.
yeah, like that
or
one
it's-
movie that I can't remember the name of right now.
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like the people coming to the house,
Yeah.
and like the opening text is like, "This is based on a true event."
Yeah, it's either based off a true event or it's gore porn.
Yeah, basically.
And I hate gore porn movies just because
Even though I've seen every single Saw movie.
I've seen them all too, and I hate them.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't think they're scary. I think they're stupid.
Oh yeah.
Like the only part that would scare me is when they.
I will defend. I will say the first Saw movie is actually pretty good,
The first one's okay.
but the first one isn't torture porn.
Like it
has
the second one where she jumps in the pit of needles and
yeah,
she's like.
that's whenever it like.
It's like,
woo!
it's like really.
No, the first one I think is actually generally good. Also because the only like gory moment that happens.
When it cuts off his foot.
Yeah, that's
Spoilers for a movie that came out a long time ago.
the dead body's actually Jigsaw.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that was only 3 people. That was
Game over.
There were the 2 people and then Jigsaw. That was it.
Well, it also had a
It
bunch
did
of
the
other
flashbacks
It
of
had
other
flashbacks
things.
of other traps that were also happening.
But it was
too.
mainly about those 3.
Yeah, like you had the girl that had the bear trap and it escaped from it.
Amanda.
Is her name Amanda?
Yeah.
God, how do you remember that?
My mom is a huge Saw fan.
Ugh, gross.
Yeah.
I actually completely forgot that there was other Saw movies also.
I think there's like 8.
No, there's 9.
Because they just made the Spiral movie that had fucking Chris Rock in it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Which, that threw me out of whack.
Well, I think Chris Rock would have been good in a Saw movie, but it needed to play better to what I thought it was gonna do.
That's like all of a sudden Kevin James is in a
Hell
Halloween
yeah,
movie.
dude. Well, I think comedic people can do serious stuff.
Oh
but
yeah, Jim Carrey has, and Robin Williams.
yeah, but it's just I think given a better script, I think it would have been better.
But
anyways,
I hate Saw. I think they're so stupid. I think they're just an excuse to do torture porn.
yeah,
Which, if you like stuff like that, you are sick.
you kind of have a somewhat of a problem.
Yeah, that's weird that you would watch a movie for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It really irritates me when movies nowadays have to go to that factor.
I will say the only horror movies that I recently have watched.
I should probably take back what I said because, like I said, my mom likes those movies. And
It's fine.
I don't think there's anything wrong with my mom.
The only recent like horror movies that I was willing to watch are the Jordan Peele movies, and that's it.
The Jordan Peele movies are actually really good, like Get Out and
Us.
I really liked Us.
So what's interesting is I saw Get Out, and
Isn't he making another one?
well, he made one that came out this year.
Yeah,
but I saw Get Out, and that movie is
He's running towards the camera.
Grandpa. That movie is like borderline a horror film. Like
It's
to
more like
me,
a suspension thriller.
it's a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
But I'm also a white guy, so it's not as
This
terrifying.
doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, it's not as terrifying.
While we're on the subject, what do you categorize as thriller and horror?
Thriller.
Because a lot of people put it together.
Horror is whenever it is like meant to like
Like, this is meant to scare you.
it's meant to scare you. Thriller covers a wide spectrum of just kind of almost a suspensefulness.
Thriller is supposed to be more suspenseful.
Yes.
Like, built like...
Like I could,
That's the scene where he's walking through a room, the music's playing,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it just cuts out. So you're like, all right, something's about to happen.
yeah, like Psycho.
Yeah.
The original Psycho, that's part thriller, part horror.
Yeah.
I think because it isn't really horrific. Like there's maybe like 3 scenes that I would count as horrific.
The rest stabbing his mommy.
Not at all what happens.
Oh.
But there's like 3 things that I would count as horrific. First of all, if you haven't seen the original Psycho, what? It's fucking
Oh.
brilliant movie.
Well, it's Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
he was just a genius in general. He was the king of suspense.
it's also one of those movies that I didn't think would actually creep me out and actually did effectively.
What would you count Alfred Hitchcock? Would you say he's a horror movie guy or a thriller movie guy?
Thriller. He definitely made way more.
Because he's the
thriller.
king of suspense.
Yeah.
So intense.
God damn it.
No
But
defense against Hitchcock once he presents.
but yeah, so Get Out was like a borderline horror movie for me. Us, I think, is way more of a traditional horror. It has a
Yeah.
lot more visual elements that I would associate with horror.
Right.
That's probably why I didn't like it as much as Get Out. But it's also a lot more mind heavy where you have to really think about it.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
You have to really know everything.
You're
about-
like,
you
am,
have
I, am I the monster?
Well, you have to really know about like Hands Across America type stuff, and it's like, it's just a whole thing.
Right.
Anyways, Jordan Peele came out with a new movie this year called Nope.
That's what it was. Nope.
I saw it recently.
And did you go, nope?
Have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it.
It's a hair in my mouth.
But what I will say is that movie did not creep me out.
Does it have the same guy in it?
Yeah.
I was going to say,
From
this
Get Out,
it's
yeah.
kind of his movies, isn't it?
No, he wasn't in Us.
He wasn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
That's
anyways,
right, he was not in Us. He was in Us.
shut up. But no, without going to spoilers, Nope wasn't. There's a lot of scenes where it's not really that scary. It's way more of like a spectacle type of movie.
Right.
Except for one scene that has haunted me since I saw it.
Oh, cool.
And I hate that scene so goddamn much because it like attacks something primal in my brain, and I'm like, this is the most uncomfortable I've ever been.
Makes
in
you
my
go full
time.
caveman.
Yeah, it like freaked me out. Like it made me not feel okay.
Do you want to know one of my favorite quote-unquote horror movies is?
Mm-hmm.
American Psycho.
That's more like psychological thriller, I would say. That's
I
not
feel like a
horror.
lot of people have categorized it as horror.
I would
Just because of, again, the murder and stuff. It's like, scary.
I don't think that's scary though. Not like in a thing where I'm like, like
This means nothing to me.
Yeah, no. I don't. It doesn't seem like
No,
it's
I'll look it up.
an intent for. It might say horror. I don't know.
I just want to know what they classify
Yeah,
it
it just
as.
doesn't. It feels more like just psychological thriller type thing.
Which is weird because if you watch the movie, it really isn't. It takes place like a lot of during daytime.
yeah.
And my favorite is he's explaining hip to be square.
Mm-hmm.
He's just doing the little walk in the rain suit.
Let me see.
It is a horror thriller.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies, horror-wise, quote-unquote. Because it's not really, like you said, it's not really a scary movie. It's just a ride.
You're kind of just watching a guy go insane.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. Like when he's having sex with a lady, he's just checking himself out in the mirror, flexing.
How impressive. How on earth did you get a reservation there? Lucky, I guess.
Is this the hip to be square scene?
Because Halberstram. He also
See, you can't watch this scene in the movie and like, oh my god, I'm scared shitless.
Well, it's. There you go.
Card.
Oh. He's pulling out his business card.
New card. What do you think?
Oh, very nice. Look at that.
Picked them up from the printers yesterday.
This is terrifying.
Oh my god, he's got business cards. I just shit my pants.
Anyways, I just
That
want
is
to.
really super. How did a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
Yo, mama.
I can't believe that Bryce prefers Van Patten's card to mine.
Oh yeah, he's got an inner monologue a lot of time.
Yeah.
See, you can't watch a movie like this and be like, this shit's scary.
But it's intrinsically fascinating. Like,
It's
such
the
a
scary
good
part
movie.
is him going insane.
Yeah. But it.
White.
Impressive.
Impressive.
Very nice.
I'm gonna kill you now.
Let's see Paul Allen's card.
I quote this way too much. This line that's about to come up.
If you haven't seen American
If you
Psycho,
haven't seen it, watch it, man. It's
oh
such a
my
good-
god, it's such a good movie.
Also directed by a woman.
Yeah. Never mind, don't watch it.
Well, I just think it's fascinating because you never see any of the prostitutes like beat or anything. Like they're not like it's never exploited.
Yeah.
So I just think it's fascinating.
Ready to
Look
murder.
at that solidified coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my god. It even has a watermark.
That's me describing a woman that I saw on the streets that I think is hot.
Anyways, this is one of my.
Look at the
favorites.
thickness.
Oh my god! Even has a watermark.
See, I don't know. You just can't watch a movie like that and just later on when he's killing someone, you're like, oh my god, this shit's scary.
This shit bussin'.
Oh my god. If you haven't seen American Psycho, watch it
That movie's
immediately.
really
'Cause,
good.
oh my god, it's so good.
It's really good. Hot damn.
I'm really passionate about that.
But yeah, like I've also seen like a ton of like bad horror films, you know, like
Oh,
the
God.
B, C, D level shit that
Couple of Z's,
yeah, nobody ever wants to watch those things. I've seen a lot of those things.
like the Killer Tire.
Well, that movie's great.
Isn't it literally called Rubber?
Yeah.
Yeah, great movie.
If you haven't seen Rubber, don't look up anything about it. Watch it. It's fucking amazing.
Go into it without watching anything. You'll
It's-
be so confused.
But it's like the best experience you could ever have watching it. It's
I don't even.
so
I don't
good.
even want to say anything about it. 'Cause
It's so good.
I want people to experience.
But no.
it.
I think Rubber is made with intent. I'm more talking about like the stuff that was made in like the
Thanksgiving.
70s and 80s, where it's like nobody's ever gonna watch this.
Thanksgiving.
So I think, I think I know what you're talking about.
The greatest movie of all time. Mallory, if you're listening to this, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm more thinking of stuff like
The
like
Blob.
no. That's not. That's like A level horror movie.
Really? You think The Blob's A level?
Yeah, because it was popular.
I mean,
back
the
then.
original, yeah, I guess.
But I'm talking about like The Bog. I don't know if you've ever heard of that movie, but that's
Yeah.
it's a 70s awful, horrible
Or,
film. The Thing That Crawls at Midnight. That's what they're always like called or whatever.
what is the name of the bird that's as big as a battleship?
It's not a horror film, but you're
It 100% is classified as a horror
Isn't
film.
that called
It's called Titanicus or something?
well, the bird is, but I don't
Yeah.
think the movie is called that.
Hang on, I'm going to find out right now. I think all monster movies are labeled horror movies. Yeah, I'll look up a Godzilla movie and just see what it's labeled as.
The first original Godzilla horror movie. The second one, even more.
Well, I mean, yeah, the first one is a horror movie 100%.
Yeah.
But that's just going to be 100% for both of us.
Godzilla '98, horror film.
See, bird as big as a
Battleship.
And that was the whole tagline for the whole movie. It's a bird as big as a battleship. Oh, I got a good stretch again. Bird as big as a battleship. Crossword clue.
Ooh.
The giant claw.
There we go. That's what it is.
Okay, so let's look up the giant claw. The giant claw. I mean, I feel like monster movies are labeled horror movies, especially from back then.
Yeah, but it's like Godzilla movies. I wouldn't count as horror.
Oh, I would. At least
All of them.
not all of them.
You saying Godzilla vs. Megalon's a horror film?
The production of it is. But I mean, like we said, look at the original Gojira.
Yeah.
That is a literal representation of nuclear war. Sci-fi horror movie for
It's
the giant
definitely
claw.
sci-fi, yeah. I agree with that.
So
Russian Terminator.
cool. I bet the original King Kong is also a
The
horror
Killer
movie.
Eye.
The killer bees from outer.
They bite
They scratch.
extra. This
Oh,
is
no.
the shit that I'm
King
talking
Kong
about.
is not a horror movie. The original one.
Well, yeah, it was made in America, baby.
It's adventure fantasy. Not even sci-fi.
The Amazing Bulk.
Oh God, isn't that character from Dexter's Lab?
No. Bloody Birthday.
Are we just looking up bad horror movies now?
Well, these are ones that I've seen before.
Oh, okay.
I was just trying to find the list where I've seen them. Elves.
I typed in Gojira. It says Gojira band.
Captain America.
1954. Captain America. Wait a minute.
Fantastic Four.
That's my favorite horror movie.
Death Spa. Have you ever seen Death Spa?
Despacito?
Shut the hell up. Death Spa.
Death Spa. No.
Oh my god, man. This is
The original Godzilla is a horror movie.
Hmm.
Anyway.
Hey, audience, if you ever want a good watch Death Spa. It's fucking incredible.
If you want a good song, listen to Despacito.
Actually, you know what? Also watch The Item. That's a great one too.
And watch Godzilla. And King Kong. You know what? Watch The Giant Claw too, just for shits and giggles.
You know what? And also, if you want to blow your brains out, watch The Jar. That's a good one.
No, that's rubber.
Well, actually, The Jar is kind of on the same level of rubber. But
I
not
think
as
we're leaving
enjoyable.
one out. The one that has got a cult following as of late is even getting a video game coming out. I'm talking about Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Is that getting a video game?
Oh, you better believe it's getting a video game.
What?
Soon, actually.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
If you haven't seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I would recommend that just for the cheese factor alone.
Well, watch that and Killer Tomatoes. It's basically the same movie.
Not Rotten Tomatoes.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Put on a sandwich.
Yeah, there is a video game. What the
Oh, yeah.
fuck?
You better believe there's a video game.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. Interesting.
All right, I got a movie that is a great movie, but has a hot topic issue in it.
Okay.
One that we've talked about a lot, Evil Dead.
The first Evil Dead's a horror film. The second Evil Dead is not. That's my personal opinion.
I'm just talking about the first one.
Okay.
It's a great horror movie,
Great horror movie.
but I feel
It's
like...
also, it like borderlines on gore factor for me.
Oh, yeah, no, that's 100% gore porn, but it's fake gore porn.
Well, I mean, you could say it to the level of the cheesiness, but the effects are still gross.
Like, if you stab someone, like, all of a sudden, like, 3 gallons of blood just come pouring out.
well, and the blood's like bright red and all that.
Yeah, like, I don't watch it really for the gore or anything, because, again, I think gore factor is stupid.
Yeah.
I watch it just because it's so fucked up and weird.
But what I will say is I have much more of a fun time watching Evil Dead or Army of Darkness.
Oh, yeah, well, everybody does.
I think because Evil Dead, I think, is like the perfect mixture of the comedy and the creepy elements.
And I feel bad.
Because Army of Darkness is definitely a comedy movie. It's not a horror film.
Oh, yeah, no.
Evil Dead is a straight up horror film. And then I think Evil Dead 2 is like the perfect middle ground where
it
Bruce
turns
Campbell,
into comedy.
Yeah, it turns into comedy. Bruce Campbell's doing like the best like physical acting he's ever done in his entire life.
If you don't know, Bruce Campbell is one of our favorite people ever.
Well, he's just he was really good in those movies.
I just feel like the first one doesn't get a lot of love as much as the other two.
No, because it's because
well, for one, there's a very controversial scene in it that I don't want to talk about.
But
for YouTube's
it's also
sake.
because Bruce Campbell is not.
He's
the
not Bruce
hot
Campbell yet.
shot. He's not the hot shot that you think.
He's
of
not the big
nowadays.
chin wonder we've come to love.
No, in the first movie, he's a big baby.
He's not even. He's just there.
Yeah, he makes it to the end.
Yeah,
That's pretty much
he's
it.
one of those characters in the first movie. The minute you see him, is like, oh, he's probably dying first.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He makes
Yeah.
the whole movie.
But it's whenever you watch Evil Dead 2 is whenever now it's like the Bruce Campbell
Like
star.
like his hands cut off. It's crawling away, and he's like poking himself in the
Yeah.
eye and everything, like Three
Well, yeah, that
Stooges.
whole scene where he's fighting with his hand and like does like a backflip over. It's like it's really good.
Smashing plates on his head.
Yeah.
And then Army of Darkness is just fantastic. And
Well, Army of Darkness is a straight up comedy, and I love every second of it.
even the TV show that came out about evil, Ash vs. Evil Dead. I loved that show.
I would have liked it more if Sam Raimi did
Directed
more.
it, yeah.
Well, he directed the first episode,
Yeah, but then he just kind of.
but he didn't direct any of the other ones.
It's like Steven Spielberg with Jurassic Park. He directed the first one, but then as the other ones came in, he was just like,
Also did the second one.
he was there.
He still directed it.
He directed it, but he didn't really have a lot to do with it.
Well, I would say that he did a lot.
Like
mainly
he would,
because he didn't know.
he
if he was
put
gonna-
in his input.
Yeah, but he was also the one who made it the way it is now because of the whole like T-Rex going to the city. That was his decision.
Oh yeah, no, the first and second one, but like 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, no, he's not involved.
He
in those.
he was there, but he was like, not.
He
he's
signed
like,
the checks.
He's like, hey, if you want to ask me for advice, I'll look at it.
Anyways, back to horror stuff.
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's fair.
Something we talked a little bit about. Ooh, let's talk a little bit about the internet spookies. God damn.
Sorry.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit about analog horror before.
Love analog horror.
Yeah, so on the internet you can find up a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah, just go to YouTube and type in analog horror.
Some of it real, some of it fake.
I would recommend watching. I know it sounds dumb and childlike. I would watch the video that Markiplier made about it because he actually explains it very well.
He does go through why analog horror
Like different
works.
types of analog horror.
I would also recommend watching Papa Meat. He has a video about analog horror.
Yes.
I think he also explains really well why different versions of analog horror
Let's
work.
explain what analog horror is.
If you don't know, analog horror is it's about as basic as it sounds. It is just a simple. It's like a video.
it's
or
usually VHS.
It's either a VHS. Well,
or old camera quality.
It's a horror aesthetic done in the style of 90s, 80s
Like the
kind of
Backrooms.
videos. Well, Backrooms just it became popular last year before, somewhere
I feel
around
like it was
then.
a few years before that.
It was definitely post 2020.
Or maybe the video was made and then all of a sudden had a huge following.
But like the Backrooms is done in an analog style horror. Local 59, which is my personal favorite,
That's a
is
good
done
one.
in an analog horror style. The Mandela
Catalog.
catalogs,
Those
that's
are-
analog horror.
Those are pretty creepy ones. I would recommend watching those.
I have
if-
not dived into them too deep, but I have seen one or two videos.
They're pretty intense.
They're just really long videos. This is my only problem.
They're long, but once you get into them, you're like, holy God, this is awful, but awesome.
Yeah, but it kind of works, and it's explained in a lot of the videos where it's
I
like,
think analog horror is like up there with one of the best forms of horror
yeah.
because you could literally make it about anything.
I even tried to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh.
did you? I don't remember you making one.
Yeah, on my personal channel, I made a vlog, and I did it in the style of like a VHS tape.
Which one was that?
It's literally called vlog number 1.
I don't think I remember that.
It's on my main channel.
Look
But
it up if you haven't.
that's kind of done in the style of analog. Obviously, I didn't really achieve the correct style, mainly because I don't have a VHS recorder. A bit better to actually do like a physical thing rather than
You could get one now. You do have a VHS player.
I do, but I would still have to transfer the footage over to digitally.
I'm sure it's easy.
Or you could do the thing where you shoot it digitally and you can run it through a VHS and then run it back into digital,
Yeah.
and it looks good. But anyways, analog works in a way where it's like, because it is such like a texture that you can't really explain that you know what it is. That it kind of works in that like
It reminds me of found footage.
it feels like you're watching something that you shouldn't. Almost.
Yeah.
Where you're seeing stuff that's like this shouldn't exist.
And they always they make it in the style of like a 50s.
yeah, it's always
Like
a
something
lot
will
of,
cut in like the bomb alarm going off and it's like Seek cover immediately. There are abnormal anomalies heading in your direction.
It's a lot of the times they'll do it either in a style where it's like government footage that has been released, or it's done in a style where it is like a informative guide to something, and then it like slowly trickles into like madness the further you go into them. But yeah, it just works really well, and I think there's like some creepy stuff on it.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I like it, because again, it could be about anything. I've seen
Like,
some about, the Mandela catalog. I've seen things about cryptids.
Yeah.
The Backrooms was a huge one that has gained a huge cult following.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen one about Five Nights at Freddy's, which actually scared me.
There is a set of film. This isn't really analog. It's just more like found footage horror.
I feel like analog and found footage could be.
There's
almost
one
in the
that
same category.
I watched like the whole series of, and it was like perfect. And I want to shout it out, but let me see if I can try to find.
Yeah, I've always felt like analog horror and found footage could be almost in the same category, depending on the topic of the video. That's the good thing about found. I also love found footage, by the way. That's another one of my favorites. I feel like found footage could be almost about anything. Not quite the level of anything like analog horror, but there are some things you can do with found footage that you could do with analog horror. In fact, sometimes analog horror will include found footage.
Mm-hmm. No Through Road. There we go.
Okay.
If people here haven't watched the series No Through Road, watch it right now. It is genuinely really creepy and also just really, really good.
Oh yeah.
There's like a moment that's like stuck in my brain forever. That's like, it's really like simple, but it's like really effective. There's a shot in, I think either like the second or third one, where the guys are like hanging out in a car and they have their camera on the dashboard, so it's like you can see the back of the car.
Yeah.
And as they're like talking, you just see someone walk in the background.
Yeah.
And it's like not pointed out or anything. It's just there, and it's like genuinely unsettling.
That's the kind
Really,
of
really good stuff.
That's the kind of horror I like.
Yeah.
When it's there, you're like, oh, when are they gonna point that out? And they just never do.
Yeah. It's just kind of there.
Like you said, like somebody just walks in the background that's not supposed to be there, and then nothing gets ever brought up about it.
Yeah. It's really, really good stuff. There's a lot of good things that you can find online.
Oh yeah. Just like I said, just type in analog horror, and you'll get so many good videos.
You get a lot of shit stuff, but you get a lot of good stuff too.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of. You gotta get through the shit to get the good stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of garbo, and I love it.
You gotta get through the garbage to get to the treasure.
Yeah.
How do you feel about found footage?
I think found footage can be effective when it's done right. I think there is definitely an overuse of it.
I know we talked a little bit about it earlier with paranormal, but we never got into the found footage films itself.
I think there are some films that use found footage to its advantage, and then I think there are some where it's like, why?
Yeah.
Like the movie, what's the name of the movie? What's the one with the guys who get the superpowers?
Chronicles.
Chronicles?
I think that's the name of it.
I actually really like that movie.
I did too.
I have no fucking idea why it's found footage. Because halfway through, they start using their powers to make the camera like steady cam, and I'm like,
why is it a found footage movie?
why didn't you just shoot a movie?
And I mean, I like that movie too, but that's one of those movies where I feel like it didn't need to be found footage either.
No.
And there's a lot of movies like that.
Like, I think Cloverfield works because it's found footage.
I agree, yeah.
Like, I know that people are upset that you don't see the monster, but that's also kind of half of the fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at Jaws. You don't see the shark until like halfway through the movie.
Also, someone screaming through a street is not going to point a camera at the monster.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, let me just frame it up just right.
Hey, could you come back and do that again?
Like, I think that movie works in found
There are
footage.
some parts where I feel like it doesn't work, though.
No, but I still think it's also really cool because the movie is formatted like an analog horror, where it like starts off with like this government,
And then it cuts into like
it cuts into footage of like their wedding or
them at their
honeymoon.
birthday party or something.
Yeah, it's like obviously like taped over.
and then all of a sudden people are dying.
yeah. It's like that. I think is like
Maybe
really-
Cloverfield was one of the founding fathers of analog horror.
Maybe. Well,
And it does have that factor we talked
I
about
think
where something
Blair
happens in the
Witch-
background. It's just never brought up because a lot of people don't know this. You pointed out to me at the end of Cloverfield, they showed the footage of them on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, and you see
You
a
can
meteor in
actually
the background.
see the meteor that had Cloverfield in it land in the water.
Yeah, which of course to this day we still don't know what that is. Either it is just a meteor, or it is Clovey, or it's something else.
Is that the
entirely.
official name of it, Clovey?
Well, that's just the nickname the fans give it. Is Clovey.
But yeah, like the scene when they're going through the subway and those giant flea things on
I
it.
hate that scene, man.
It's just why that could have been just actual movie footage.
Well,
Because it's found footage, and all of a sudden he comes to like a complete standstill where the camera's not moving, and he just has the perfect amount of just balance
Yeah.
to not make the camera move at all.
I will say the aftermath of that scene though is actually pretty horrific. Whenever
Oh yeah, no, it's horrific.
one of the people gets bitten, and you're like the people like start freaking out.
Yeah.
Like the people in like hazmat suits, and then you just see her like go behind a curtain. She like explodes.
Yeah.
Like Jesus.
So I mean that is cool, but when it's the glow in the dark part,
Yeah, that's a little rough.
and he's just there, just holding it perfectly, like, damn, that's a good shot. Damn. Of like the soldiers getting attacked,
yeah.
and it's just like the perfect still shot compared to when he falls on the ground and then the camera's pointing up at Cloverfield.
That
I would
final shot is a little wank because it's
Well,
like
see, that I feel like could work because he's so frozen with fear he can't move.
I think it would work better if it wasn't like perfectly framed.
If she wasn't like in the frame
I
completely.
think if it was that if maybe she was like a little further back and she was like maybe like down a little bit, it would work better.
Or even if she was that close, make her walk up to the camera.
Yeah.
Don't just like cameras turn, all of a sudden just boom right there.
And then chomp and then fall.
Yeah, the camera falls or doesn't like have his body or something fall.
I think it's supposed to be implied that he was like chomped in half by Clovey.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think it's you hear the planes go by saying that they're gonna nuke the city. And then it ends there, and then it ends with their honeymoon footage and all that stuff.
Great movie. I actually would recommend
It's
people
a
watch
really,
Clove.
really good movie.
A lot of people shit on it. I think it's a great movie.
No, it's a really good movie. Also, watch 10 Cloverfield Lane. That's a really good movie too.
Watch Cloverfield Paradox too. Why not?
I mean, if you want to have a good laugh,
Yeah, that one's stupid, but
it's just fun.
it's part of it.
Also, sequel coming out.
I think I brought this up to you speaking of 10 Cloverfield Lane. I think I talked to you about it that I feel like that would have the concept of that would have worked better as a TV show than a movie, in my opinion.
Maybe I don't know.
Not like a whole series, like
a limited series.
yeah,
where it's
like a
6
like a
episodes.
yeah, like a 5 or 6 part mini series.
I
I feel like you could have tackled more subjects in that time frame then.
I don't know because like
I just feel like I don't know, just one of those things I feel like they had to rush certain parts.
no, I feel like the only part that feels rushed to me is spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, the movie
the
came out in like
light
what, 2013.
Light spoilers for it. Whenever the guy dies, there's like a slight time jump.
Yeah.
Like it's not like massive, but John Goodman doesn't have a beard anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like
He also
somewhat.
dumps him in ass.
There's like somewhat of a time jump, and I'm like, I feel like we missed something. Like we
Yeah,
needed
see, you coulda done
a
something
little
with
bit of a. But I still feel like it was paced well enough as a movie.
Or
I
if
f-
not
I
a
feel
mini
like it-
series, make it a 2-parter.
Yeah, I feel like if it was dragged out any longer, I think we would have had problems with like the pacing and the reveal of the ending to it.
Right.
But I don't know. Anyways, that shit's probably not canon anymore. Anyways, if it even was canon in the first place.
I don't think it ever was until close.
The first Cloverfield movie isn't canon anymore.
I didn't think any of those things were canon to Cloverfield until Cloverfield Paradox came out when
and it was like, shit, we're getting multiverse in here.
where it's a even bigger version of Chloe that breaks the surface of the
that's
clouds.
Chloe's mom.
Yeah, and it's just like, huh.
Yeah, because the theory.
So that makes that Clover's mom is bigger than Godzilla.
Yeah.
It broke
Well,
the
the
skyline surface.
The theory right now is that Clovey in the first movie is a baby. Clovey in the last movie is the mom, and then the aliens in the second one are the ones looking for it.
yeah.
And they're all like separated because of the stuff that happens in Paradox. Whack shit that doesn't
Paradox
make sense.
is a mindfuck movie.
It's borderline horrible.
I got about 45 minutes into it. I was so lost.
Yeah, it's like it's up its own ass in a lot of
And I was just like,
places.
what?
Yeah.
Finished it anyway,
Yeah.
so.
Well,
Wowie zowie.
well, I think we've talked about a lot of things. We talked a lot about good stuff. We talked a lot about bad stuff. We
Talked a lot about medium stuff.
We talked about like a couple of things, and I think we talked about a lot of good stuff lately. So I think we should probably maybe end it here.
Well, how are we going to know if it's ending?
Well, just give it a second.
Oh, okay. Well, it sure is quiet in here. Happy Halloween, guys. I'm going to go now. Bye.
Happy Halloween.
Oh.